The WWE Slammy Awards have returned and there are a lot of categories to choose from. So in today's video, I'm going to go over who I think is winning each award this year and my reasoning for it, as well as my thoughts on each of the nominees. Hi, I'm JLD and I'm a WWE content creator from New York City. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way you get some of the best wrestling content out there. Consider becoming a YouTube member for as low as $4.99 a month for exclusive access to some of our videos, access to special shout outs during our live stream, as well as just many other things that regular subscribers do not get. Also check out our JLD merch at justlayingdown.com. We got t-shirts, hats, water bottles, hoodies, everything you could think of. Just make sure you head over there and support the channel. So what are the Slammys? The Slammys is basically the WWE's version of the Grammy Awards, where they have different categories of things like Superstar of the Year, Moment of the Year, Rivalry of the Year, etc., etc. And the superstars get trophies and do little speeches in front of a crowd, similar to like Grammys or any kind of award ceremony. Normally this would be done on a random Monday Night Raw and or SmackDown, but this year it's actually going to be at WWE World during WrestleMania weekend in Las Vegas. So for those who are going to WrestleMania this year and have a Sunday WWE World ticket, you can see it live at no extra cost. And if you're not going to Las Vegas for WrestleMania, you can see it live on their social media channels, probably on YouTube, maybe Netflix, maybe Peacock, I don't know. And if you actually want to vote on these Slammy Awards, you can head over to www.com/Slammys, pick each of the categories and vote on who you think you want to win. And I guess whoever gets the most votes by April 20th ends up winning the award. So without further ado, let's get these awards started. This is in the order that I see at WWE.com. So the first award is Female Superstar of the Year for 2024. And the choices for this are Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Bayley, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green, and Io Sky. And honestly, for the year of 2024, I have to give this to Liv Morgan. She carried the Raw Women's division for the entirety of 2024 while Rhea Ripley was gone on injury. From Dominic Mysterio's betrayal of Rhea Ripley to Liv Morgan leading the Judgment Day with Finn Balor, I think it makes sense that Liv Morgan wins this award, as she carried most of everything with the Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley definitely had her year in 2023, but since she was out on injury, there was not much in terms of 2024 to go off of. Bayley had a good year also until she lost her championship at SummerSlam, but it was kind of just there, her reign. If I had to pick a runner-up, I would say Nia Jax, because she has improved very much in terms of her mic skills and also in the ring. And with her winning the championship from Bayley at SummerSlam, being Queen of the Ring, having her storyline with Tiffany Stratton, I think she would get runner-up. Tiffany Stratton is a great contestant also for this award, but I feel like 2025 is actually going to be her year rather than 2024, because she just got onto the roster this past May, I believe. Chelsea Green is another good one, but I think she's unfortunately overshadowed by some of the other members of the women's roster with their main championships. And even though that's the case, I feel like as US Women's Champion, she has been entertaining us a lot. So I hope to see her as a contestant next year for 2025. Now, Io Sky is your Women's World Champion now, and I feel like this could be a year where she just climbs to the freaking top, but I feel like 2024 was more of her year to give to the rest of the roster, giving up the title, being a part of Damage Control, and kind of just chilling around on Monday Night Raw. So because of this, I say Liv Morgan carried WWE last year. Next up, we got the Men's Superstar of the Year, and for this one, we have Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Gunther, CM Punk, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, and Seth Rollins. I gotta give this award to main event Jey Uso. This man has the most merch sales, probably behind Roman Reigns in this list, and maybe Cody Rhodes. Jey Uso is the most hyped up wrestler right now, coming out of the crowd, got everybody saying yeet. They literally have a whole freaking sports line every time they go to a different city. Jey Uso's yeet is on their basketball team, different color shades. Jey Uso's just the most hyped up right now as he goes into WrestleMania facing Gunther. This man won the Intercontinental Championship, and he's just been on a roll for a very long time now. Cody Rhodes is good too, especially after his match with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, but after that, it's kind of just died out, honestly, in terms of who he's been facing afterwards and just overall the quality of like the championship reign. The highlight of Roman Reigns' year for 2024 was his match with Cody Rhodes and his tag team match with The Rock, Cody, and Seth Rollins. But other than that, Roman Reigns for the most part has been missing from last year. Gunther makes me laugh, but I don't think he's Superstar of the Year. I feel like this World Heavyweight Championship reign has kind of just been there, but nothing exciting has come about of it. I would give CM Punk runner-up, because that man could talk on the mic, and that man, even though he may not show up every single week, that man is insane. And his feud with Seth Rollins is probably one of the most entertaining feuds right now, besides maybe the Bloodline and The Rock. Damian Priest had a pretty cool World Heavyweight Championship run, but I feel like WWE has kind of put him on the side as of recently. Drew McIntyre will always end up being that bad luck Brian of the WWE, always getting screwed over. So for that reason, I don't think he's WWE Male Performer of the Year. And Seth Rollins, I feel like personally, he's just there. Like, I'm entertained by Seth Rollins at some points, but I feel like like I'm not as like enjoyed by what he does like I used to be back in the day. So for that reason, I got main event Jey Uso as my pick for male superstar of the year. Next up, we got social star of the year, and the contestants for that are Chelsea Green and Drew McIntyre. Chelsea Green always retweets everything, and she always posts stuff with Matt Cardona and everything, but Drew McIntyre is one of the most funniest people on Instagram, on Twitter, roasting everybody, putting the board at work LOL while fighting at WrestleMania against Seth Rollins. Drew McIntyre is the obvious winner for this one. Next up, we got the breakout star of the year with a long list with Braun Breaker, Lyra Valkyria, Penta, Obafemi, Julia, Tiffany Stratton, Jacob Fatu, Chelsea Green, and Stephanie Vaquer. First of all, why is Chelsea Green on this list when she's been with the company for a while now? And Penta has only been with the company since January of this year. He was not in 2024 at all. And honestly, this is a two-way tie for me. I feel like it could either be Tiffany Stratton or Jacob Fatu. Tiffany Stratton's been with the company on the main roster since this past May with the WWE draft and has been a fan favorite ever since, winning the Money in the Bank this past July and winning the WWE Women's Championship not so long ago. While Jacob Fatu debuted a few months ago around June, July on SmackDown and even skipped NXT, and the crowd just went crazy for him, knew who he was. Whether he's doing the I Love You solo or he's just doing his own promos as he walks down to the ring, this crowd absolutely loves him even though he's a heel. But if I absolutely had to pick one of them, I think it's Jacob Fatu for sure, because that man is overpowering Solo Sikoa, and that man has the potential to be a future world champion very, very soon, sooner than we could think. Braun Breaker is another thought that I could have for breakout star of the year with his spears, but I feel like just build him up just a little bit more than just handing him an intercontinental title and just giving him basic matches. Lyra Valkyria, I feel like just, I don't know, she just doesn't stick out to me. She's the women's intercontinental champion, but I'm not into it right now with Lyra. Penta just started with WWE. Give him some time to build up. Maybe Rey Fenix will be helping him out when he joins the WWE, but give him some time to win gold or just do more in terms of Raw. Obafemi recently won the NXT championship, but I don't really know too much about Obafemi, so for that reason I'm not going to pick him. Julia was another star of NXT that won the NXT Women's Championship, but again, I don't really know anything about her besides the past few months teaming up with Stephanie Vaquer, and that's really it. And then Stephanie Vaquer recently joined NXT from CMLL, so there's not really much to go over in terms of breakout star. We know how talented she is, and now she's the double champion, but I feel like this should go to Jacob. So next up, we have the most memorable entrance of, I guess, 2024 into 2025. Cody Rhodes' WrestleMania entrance, Jey Uso debuting the Raw on Netflix with Travis Scott, the one where Travis Scott was smoking with him. We got Roman Reigns' WrestleMania entrance. We got The Rock's WrestleMania entrance, Bayley's WrestleMania entrance, Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin with the crowd going insane with him, Seth Rollins at WrestleMania with his freaking crazy costume, Sami Zayn in Montreal with Jey Uso, Sami Zayn at WrestleMania with Kevin Owens and Chad Gable, which okay, Logan Paul in SummerSlam with Machine Gun Kelly, which, you know, Logan Paul, whatever, Dominic Mysterio at Bad Blood with Eddie Guerrero's Lowrider, as well as Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle. I think for this one, I'm gonna go for the most unique entrance that I saw out of the entire list, and the one that sticks out to me the most is the Seth Rollins one, where the whole freaking party and like colorful people in costumes were coming down to his music. I gotta give this one to Seth Rollins. And the match itself was actually pretty fire. I really thought Drew was gonna win that title in like 5 seconds with that first Claymore kick. All of the others were awesome as well. Most of these seem to be WrestleMania entrances because that's where they go all out, but Seth Rollins is the most unique because, you know, he just dresses in the most unique way. I feel like with Cody Rhodes, Roman, Bayley, and all the others, it's kind of just, you expect those kind of entrances from them, but with Rollins, I did not expect any kind of like Mardi Gras style party entrance like that, so I'm giving it to Rollins. Now, if they would have put Jey Uso with the France crowd, that wins 100% of the time. But with Travis Scott, it's like, okay, cool, Travis Scott is there, he smoked his blunt, he had the belt with him and whatever, but it was just a regular, it's just me-use entrance in the crowd. And if I had to give a runner-up, it would be Dominic Mysterio with the Eddie Guerrero lowrider. The match itself was kind of just blab, but Dominic with the lowrider is just hilarious because of how he says Eddie Guerrero's his real dad. Next up, we have the oh my god moment of the year with the ending of Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, Dominic Mysterio turning on Rhea Ripley for Liv Morgan, Kevin turning on Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, The New Day turning on Big E, Tiffany Stratton cashing in her Money in the Bank, Damian Priest cashing in his Money in the Bank at WrestleMania, the Wyatt Six's debut, Braun Breaker spearing I Show Speed, Bronson Reed doing the tsunami onto the car, onto Braun Strowman, John Cena turning on Cody Rhodes at the Chamber, Roman Reigns returning at SummerSlam, or Io Sky beating Rhea Ripley to become the Women's World Champion a few weeks ago. Now, originally, I was going to choose Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. The ending of that match is probably one of the best moments of history for the WWE, and I will always cherish it as one of my favorite matches of all time. But if you're talking about, oh my God, moments of the year, this past Elimination Chamber, John Cena turning on Cody Rhodes was not on my bingo card. And the moment you saw John Cena's face become very serious with The Rock, I knew something bad was about to go down. And lo and behold, John Cena's now a heel. And this was a hard decision because Roman and Cody was one of the best rivalries I've seen in a very long time in terms of production and how everything just flowed together for the end. So it was really hard to not pick this match, but John Cena himself, just the power he has the opportunity to just make something crazy happen this coming WrestleMania at WrestleMania 41. But if I had to pick a runner-up, it's definitely Cody and Roman, but next to that has to be Dominic Mysterio. I gotta give it to them. Dominic Mysterio turning on Rhea Ripley had me going crazy because the crowd just went wild. We didn't expect Dominic to actually make out with Liv Morgan. You know, that man is married. And it was also just the beginning of the end for the Judgment Day, which we expected for a while now, but it was wild to finally see it happen. Everything else on this list was amazing as well, but some of these moments are just like at the top. And so for that reason, John Cena betraying Cody Rhodes has to be number one. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of people mad about this decision saying, oh, Roman Cody was the best, John Cena, Undertaker, everybody came out, but that was an amazing match. But we're talking about like exact moments, and I was not ready for John Cena to become heel yet. Next up, we got the faction of the year, with the contestants being the OG Bloodline, the Judgment Day, the New Bloodline, American Made, and Damage Control. And for this one, I have to give it to the New Bloodline. As much as we called them the Temu Bloodline, the fake Bloodline, said F you Solo and everything of that nature, they kind of carried SmackDown while Roman Reigns was gone, if you think about it. Like during this time, Jimmy Uso was injured, Jey Uso was doing his thing on Raw, and Solo Sikoa picked up a lot of pieces that Roman left after he lost the title to Cody. And with Solo Sikoa bringing in Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu, and just having them as a group, I think he's the reason he should get this faction of the year, Solo Sikoa and his team. The OG Bloodline only returned towards the end, towards Survivor Series War Games. The Judgment Day collapsed last year during SummerSlam, so I feel like there was a lot of controversy with that group going forward. American Made is kind of just there. I mean, cool, but they need to win tag team titles if we want to take them more seriously. And Damage Control's been around for a while, so like, I don't know. So for that reason, I say the New Bloodline. They carried SmackDown for a very long time for the year 2024, so they deserve it. Next up is Tag Team of the Year with DIY, Awesome Truth, A-Town Down Under, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, the Motor City Machine Guns, the Bloodline, the War Raiders, the Judgment Day, the Street Profits, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez. So this is a tie between the Bloodline and the Judgment Day. The reason for the Bloodline is they don't distinguish whether it's the old Bloodline like with Roman, Jimmy, Jay, or if it's the New Bloodline with Solo, the Tongans, and Jacob Fatu. And then with the Judgment Day, we did get to see Finn Balor and JD McDonough as the tag team champions, and I'm not gonna lie, they actually were pretty good as champions together. DIY was kind of there. I wasn't really too entertained by them last year. Awesome Truth was cool to see as the tag team champions after WrestleMania, but they quickly fell out. A-Town Down Under, I don't know what Triple H is thinking about without betraying Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Like, what is the holdup on this? Jade and Bianca, they're no longer a thing. They're now gonna just, I don't know, fight Naomi or something, who knows. Motor City Machine Guns came in hot, but now I feel like they're kind of just fading into the main roster. War Raiders are cool, but I feel like they're just there as well. Like, they won the titles from the Judgment Day, and it's like, cool, they're the champions, but there's nothing I feel like is getting hyped up about them. Street Profits, I'm glad they won the tag team titles last week on SmackDown, and I hope that moving forward they are the tag team of 2025. But for last year, I feel like they were kind of just there and not really doing too much. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, they only showed up around October of this past year when Raquel returned. So for this, I have to pick Finn Balor and JD McDonough. They were a great tag team together. Next up, we got the Rivalry of the Year, starting off with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest and Finn Balor, Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, Bloodline versus Bloodline. And for this, it has to be CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Their words outside, inside, and on social media have been absolutely insane. To their match at Bad Blood in the Hell in a Cell match, to just the exchange of words, like they just work together so freaking well. From Drew McIntyre injuring CM Punk's tricep, to just saying that he prayed that it would happen, to the bloody brawls they had, it was just cinema. That's all. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes was good too, but it wasn't really long lived. It was just mainly once Cody won the Rumble, that was it. Like, it was just Roman and Cody with The Rock, and it only lasted like maybe a month or two. It wasn't like the whole year. So for that reason, I would say the runner-up would be Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, because they really fought each other for that Women's World Championship. Damian Priest and Finn Balor was good, but it kind of was just a squash of Damian Priest destroying Finn Balor every single time. Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes was really good too, with the pile drivers to Randy Orton and to Cody Rhodes. I hope Kevin Owens gets more in terms of like a title opportunity and eventually becomes world champion, because he is very talented at what he does. Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton was a really good rivalry too, but for the most part, they were actually on the same side. And Bloodline versus Bloodline, it would have been great at War Games, but I feel like they did not have to involve CM Punk or Bronson Reed. But I guess it makes sense for CM Punk to also be a part of it because of that favor from Paul Heyman. But now Bronson Reed's out of action, and now we don't even know that like he's there for a while. So for that reason, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre is my pick. NXT Star of the Year, we got Obafemi, Roxanne Perez, Trick Williams, Ethan Page, Julia, and Kalani Jordan. We got Trick Williams as my pick. Whoop that Trick. He's just so entertaining in terms of his theme song and just on the mic and just his backstage segments. Trick Williams is freaking awesome. And I could see him very soon coming onto the main roster at the WWE draft in a few months. My runner-up would definitely be Roxanne Perez, because she's pretty much on the main roster at this point. I think they're just trying to transition her a little bit for when the WWE draft does happen and they officially give her a Raw or SmackDown brand. She's been with NXT for God knows how long, and I think she's gotten the ropes of what everything to do in NXT, so I think it's time to build up her horizon. And I think they should start that off with a match with Bayley at WrestleMania. Obafemi just started with the WWE as of recently, so I feel like they just have to give him some more time with the NXT title. Ethan Page also recently came in from AEW, so give him some more time before he moves up to the main roster and shows off as NXT Star of the Year. Same with Julia, and Kalani Jordan's been doing her thing. Keep up the great work, Kalani. But for this one, Trick Williams. Next up, we got the match of the year. We have Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. We got CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, their Hell in a Cell match. Roman Reigns and The Rock versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam. Damian Priest versus Gunther at SummerSlam. Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles at WWE Backlash. The 2025 Men's War Games match, which was the Bloodline versus the Bloodline. Bayley versus Io Sky at WrestleMania. Sami Zayn versus Gunther at WrestleMania. Gunther versus Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin. And Seth Rollins versus CM Punk at the Raw Netflix premiere. And I think the obvious one for this one is Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship, because the way the match started to the way the match ended, holy crap, one of the best produced matches in all of WWE. The emotion that went through the crowd, to Samantha Irvin freaking crying during the announcement of Cody Rhodes as champion, to John Cena coming out, The Rock, Seth Rollins, to freaking Undertaker choke slamming The Rock. It was just a very entertaining match and a very great ending to a very long Bloodline storyline with Roman Reigns as champion. So everything about it made this match probably one of the best matches of WWE history. My runner-up match would be CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in their Hell in a Cell match, because that match was not only bloody but very, very entertaining and kicked off WWE Bad Blood, which was absolutely wild. CM Punk may not be appearing at every single show that happens, but when he does, him and Drew go crazy. Roman Reigns and The Rock versus Cody and Seth was a good match too, but I feel like it was just kind of there to set up the stipulation of Bloodline rules for night 2. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam. The match itself was all right. Obviously, Dominic distracted the referee, so Liv Morgan could win. But in terms of the match itself, it seemed like a pretty cool match, but nothing, oh my god, crazy. We had Damian Priest versus Gunther, was just same thing, betrayal. Finn Balor cost Damian Priest the title, but besides that, it wasn't like as crazy as the other two matches that I mentioned. Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles, that was a really good match in terms of the France crowd and them screaming their theme songs, whether it was the one for AJ Styles or Cody Cody Rhodes' theme song. They went absolutely insane, and we loved those European crowds. The War Games match was great as well, but again, like I said earlier, I feel like it just didn't need Bronson Reed and CM Punk if it was just OG Bloodline versus New Bloodline. Bayley versus Io Sky at WrestleMania, I kind of forgot that that was a match, but it kind of ended just pretty quick, so that's why I feel that way. Sami Zayn versus Gunther was a feel-good story, but it wasn't one of my favorites. Gunther versus Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin was good, very close, but obviously Randy Orton got put to sleep. And Seth Rollins versus Punk at the Raw Netflix premiere was pretty good, but just a regular match for Monday Night Raw. So I think it's pretty obvious Roman versus Cody has to win match of the year. There's no way nobody's beating that. And we have our final category of WTF moment of the year. We got R-Truth calls Triple H Tommaso Ciampa. We got Kevin Owens with his car interviews. Chelsea Green goes into the dumpster. Dominic Mysterio's in a shark cage. I Show Speed is with Logan Paul as the prime bottle at WrestleMania. LA Knight is in Logan Paul's pool. R-Truth wrestles with John Cena at the Raw after WrestleMania. The rabid noises from Tama Tonga. We got Jacob Fatu saying I love you solo, and the Wyatt Six debut with their whole backstage slaughter. Now, my initial reaction to this was to pick Tama Tonga's growls, because there is a reaction video I made not that long ago of me freaking out because I'm like, why the hell is he growling like that? And I reacted to this clip live, but after looking at it a little bit more, I feel like the Wyatt Six debut is so put together in terms of production that this has to get the win. Like, they killed my boy Chad Gable and they slaughtered everybody that was backstage. Everybody was bloodied, everybody was on the floor, and it was a wild way to end the show when they did debut on the Monday Night Raw. We haven't seen them in a while, which I believe is because Bo Dallas has been injured, but besides that, it was amazing to see them return and make tribute to the late Bray Wyatt. R-Truth calling Triple H Tommaso Ciampa is hilarious, but it's not gonna be the WTF moment of the year. I feel like R-Truth has funnier moments than that. Kevin Owens' car interviews are hilarious, and it's just like, why is he kicked out of the arena? Because he did a pile driver, but I don't know. Kevin Owens doing the car interviews is cool, but not WTF moment of the year. Chelsea Green going into the dumpster was funny, but not anything like that I'm gonna remember for a very long time. Same thing with Dominic Mysterio being in a shark cage. Like, he acted like he was falling and his leg was caught and all that, but it just didn't do anything for his character. I Show Speed with Logan Paul as the prime bottle. Every year is a new person in the prime bottle, so it's become a tradition. I feel like Kai Cenat's gonna be the one to be in the prime bottle this year. We got R-Truth wrestle with John Cena. You know, that was cool to see John Cena on the Raw after Mania being a tag team match, but nothing insane. LA Knight in Logan Paul's pool was actually pretty funny, so I would pick that as my runner up. I even made a video where I said that LA Knight's out here committing crimes left and right, invading people's homes, which I thought was funny. The Jacob Fatu I Love You solo is cool, but it's not like a WTF moment, but I would say Tama Tonga would be the next up after that. So if I had to pick, the Wyatt Six debut was probably one of my favorites because it was just choreographed and produced so freaking well. So those are my picks for all of the categories for this year's WWE Slammys. If you want to vote, make sure you go to www.com/Slammys to vote on who you want to win their awards. And as always, if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way you get some of the best wrestling content out there. I will see you guys on the next video. Peace out, everybody.